Hello. I actually thought of something else that felt really important to talk to you about, so you get an extra bonus video. We've been working a lot with the blocks, with your goals of what you want to achieve, and also with looking at the shadows and how you want to shine. We've looked at the way you communicate, yeah, and being able to receive compliments. And when I'm talking about how you communicate, if you can remember those triangles, the two different types of triangles, whether there's like the ones where you're more passive and want to be rescued, or you're the rescuer, and the ones where you're more assertive and in your own sense of power. So I wanted to add something to that, because I think when we're working with shining and being open and following through, we're not having control in the ways that our protector familiar self would feel comfortable with. And so I think it's good to just reflect back on those kinds of dynamics in our system, because naturally when you are pressing forward, your system's going to want to go back to those familiar coping patterns. So here's another way of describing some other coping patterns that you may relate to and be aware of as you continue to build your ground to shine, so that you can hold your ground and not fall into these patterns. So one of those ways, I'm just going to look to the side as I read a bit about it, one of those ways is being an interrogator. That kind of person that stays in control by asking lots of questions of the other person, or finding something to criticize, or point out something to someone. And so feel more in control because you feel like you've got the right information. Another way is an intimidator, and this not probably isn't you, but it's one of the four ways that are described here of how some people try to get control. So one of them is the interrogator, the first way, where you ask lots of questions, because asking lots of questions can take the attention off you, put it on the other person, and you act as if you know the right answer, or you feel and believe you've got the right answer, and so you feel a sense of control and being right. The second way is the intimidator, where it's more dominating, more bullying, and trying to be in control by getting the other person's energy in a more toxic way, which probably, if you're doing this program, is probably not your style. But it might be good to recognize other people that do that in your circles of life, perhaps, that do that to get some control. The third way may be called the poor me way, where you might tell something and not the full story, but the way that it still may be true what you're saying, but a way that will more elicit out of someone else, or poor you, so you feel safer and more in control then, because you perhaps warding off someone's confrontation to you or something else. So you're using control by manipulating in an indirect way, but it still is on some level, to get the warm, soft attention from someone, get someone's sympathy in, and get, or perhaps just to get their attention. So that's the poor me, where you tell perhaps a version of what you're experiencing that doesn't say the full story, because perhaps there's something else that feels difficult for you to face in telling the person. Like you might go, oh, I've been feeling really sick, feeling really terrible, but actually, even though that may be true, the reason you haven't rung them or visited them is actually you don't enjoy their company, say. But you go on the more poor me kind of thing to stay more in control, rather than confront a different kind of conversation. The fourth way can be termed more aloof, someone that acts all mysterious, and they get a sense of control by making the other person do a lot of work to get the information and the connection happening, or get the intimacy happening. And so this aloof way, the person may appear coy or mysterious, and as I said, gain a sense of control because they're making the other person work hard. So I wanted to just go over some more styles about how people manage to have a sense of control, protect themselves, because it's really good to keep revisiting them to make sure that we're not getting caught in those kinds of patterns, so we can keep staying open, keep stepping into a bigger ground. Even if it might feel uncomfortable, you're going to feel more satisfied and more proud of yourself and more comfortable in ultimately, I believe, because when you are doing those controlling kinds of behaviors and trying to stay in control of something, there's a pressure because you've got to keep doing that to stay in control. Whereas when you can find other ways of being in the world, then your system doesn't have to worry about being in control, because you build a sense of confidence that I can meet and face whatever it is that's challenging me. I don't have to keep building a sense of control with another person or in myself, because I can trust that I can manage and handle whatever it is that's going to come up at any given moment. Okay, so I look forward to hearing how this information sits with you. Have a great day or a great evening whenever it is that you're listening to this video. Take care, and we'll talk soon.